how to use your LinkedIn to raise investment for your company or your startup, to raise funding, to attract investors, and in general, accelerate your funding plans. I'm going to walk you through, and you're looking at my LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to walk you through the key steps on how to configure your LinkedIn to maximize your chances of getting funding. Let me start off first by clearly saying that you have to have a fundable startup first. Nothing's going to help you in terms of your LinkedIn. If you could have the most amazing LinkedIn profile ever, and sure, you might get a lot of connections, but if your startup is not fundable in terms of having the traction, clear idea, solution, big enough TAM, et cetera, depending on the types of investors that you're looking for, you're not going to get funding. So this is not going to be helpful. But as you are going through the journey of getting your startup funded, it's important to use your LinkedIn properly. And it takes time. Too long did not read. Spoiler alert, getting right to it. When I'm talking to an investor and I let them know I've got a founder and I think you should be taking a look, I send not even the pitch deck. I send a quick little blurb, a one sheet in terms of an intro one pager, and then the LinkedIn profile. And it's really important. So I'll go and look at a founder's LinkedIn. I'll say, can you just change this because you're not helping me? And it's, there's a tug of war that happens because sometimes founders are looking for work, but sometimes they need to show that they're serious and they're in their startup full time. So you have to make some decisions on how you're going to be using your LinkedIn profile for this particular instance. I'm going to be talking about raising investment, and we're going to use my LinkedIn profile as an example. And let's walk through what happens. As soon as someone knows about your startup, you have to understand that investors invest in founders. They don't just invest in ideas, because the founders are the ones that are going to execute against those ideas. And ideas always change and market conditions are always shifting and there might have to be a pivot. So an investor is going to verify that you're a real person, and they're going to look at all the things that you didn't say in your pitch deck or your one sheet, and they're going to try and get an idea of who you are, a smart investor anyway, and they're going to creep you on LinkedIn. That's just what's going to happen. Your LinkedIn profile is your resume. And so if you're not using it accordingly, well, you're going to hurt your funding chances. So let's start right at the top here. And if you look, I've got, the picture, I've got, the picture of me speaking at, like a TED Talky type event in China. And I've got this description. Now, I don't need to explain my startup because I just have a different position, but your headline needs to be a little more than I'm just the CEO type thing. You want to add a little more oomph on what you do. So you want to say you're the co-founder or you're the founder of this venture and what you're doing, solving what problem. You want to have that initial description right there because that's your headline. Right. So people are going to look at the picture. You got to get your pictures right because we're all visual. So pictures are absolutely important. And you'll see that my LinkedIn profile is set on, I think it's called creator mode or something like that, where it shows my content first versus me looking for a job. So adjust your profile to be in creator mode so it shows off your content. So I've got this, and I've got my hashtags because I'm going to show up in searches, for just laughs, just to connect with people and expand my network. And so here we've got my analytics, and then, creator mode on. Okay. Creator mode is on, manage my network, etc. So you want to turn your creator mode on, and notice how I've got the headline, etc. And then I've got the pictures. Now I've got my featured article, and my featured article has to support my activity and what I'm trying to accomplish with my LinkedIn. So if you're wanting to use LinkedIn and you're not putting out thoughtful articles and content on LinkedIn, you're going to be in trouble. So write something and put it in featured article. You can have up to 3 featured articles. And so check it out. I've got 3 reasons startup founders need a Sherpa advisor as coach. So I'm talking about the advisory because that's what I want to do. I want to be an advisor. I want to attract founders. I want to talk to them and then, scout them out and look for funding opportunities and, partnership and all these things in my role with all the accelerators, the funds, and startups.com. So I'm looking at that. Now we're going to look at activities and look at how full my activities are. And I'm posting, and I got to put up a post this week. I'm working on it. I'm posting at least once a week, and everything that I'm working on has to do with what I'm trying to accomplish with my LinkedIn. So once a week, I've got activities, and here I'm, posting all the interviews that I do with the founders, etc. And so I'm active. I'm constantly sure I'm active. If you have a LinkedIn profile and it says the last piece of content was up 6 months ago, then nobody's going to know whether you're alive, you've actually got activity going on, you got momentum. So you want to show that you're active. Now, don't overdo it. This is not TikTok. This is not Instagram. You don't have to posting multiple times a day, even daily. Post once a week, something thoughtful. And so I've got activities. Now, you may not be someone who's got content directly related, so you can mix up sharing different things and, posting stuff and commenting and having activities that relates to your startup or the industry or the people that you're trying to attract, to show that you're a formidable founder, you're relentlessly resourceful, you know what you're talking about, you have domain expertise. Do not share memes, do not share cat videos, and you may laugh and think that's a Facebook thing. I've seen founders do it. Do things that are professional and relevant. This is your professional resume. This is what they're going to be looking at. This is your personal one-pager, your one sheet that investors are going to scour and take a look, or at least gloss over to verify you are who you are before they go into the next step, which is probably discovery, the initial steps and due diligence, and have a conversation, let you pitch. You want to sharpen the tip of the arrow so you can get through the initial armor, the gatekeepers, and catch their attention. So I'm posting things here about, about the metaverse. I got 2 things about low code, and I'm featuring founders because that's what I want to do. So they can click on show more activity. So I'm scanning right away. Headline, pictures, all in line. I check it out, feature article. Okay. Thought leadership, content being put up there. Then I've got content activity that's saying, okay, I'm posting on a regular basis that's contributing value to the network, and I know what I'm talking about. And then here's your about section. So about section, I've got just a really quick blurb, and you can put in, depends. You might want to tell your story or different things like that, but make sure if you saw what I did there, actually, let me just refresh again. This is kind of the above the fold look here, see more. You see how that works? So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. So you better make them count because not everybody's going to click and read more and see more. So you may put something cute in the first thing, but it cuts everything off and it doesn't make them want to read the rest. Then reverse it, flip it around and put some really clear headlines and give them a reason. It's another headline. This is the headline that you're going to be using to get them to read more and learn more. And then the experience is really important. They want to see your experience and that you're building towards domain expertise. Now, some people say, but Ed, my previous experience doesn't contribute to my startup experience or being a founder because this is my first startup. Here's the problem. Yes, that makes sense. But at the same time, they don't know if you're a real person, especially if you don't have any other activity, etc. So you want to show your previous experience. Now, if you had to have a stint and you worked at McDonald's and that doesn't look very good, well, cut it out. Like, don't put it in. But if you have, multiple years of experience in a certain industry, say working in a corporation, and then you went to go start a startup, well, that says something about you. That's really important. So make sure you have your experience and you put it out there. And, I've got experiences here. I've got 9. Now, I've done a lot of other things that are not relevant, but I've got enough for people to go, wow, there's a lot of activity. Ed is doing a whole bunch of different stuff. And so this helps me understand that Ed is a full person. He's got life experience. He's got all these things. Then, I show my education, and that's, academic literally academic at that point in time, licenses, certifications, and then, you got your skills and endorsements, and you can ask people to endorse you. Going out and shilling for endorsements, not that big a thing. I've never asked. People just, tend to endorse me. And, these recommendations and giving recommendations, they're nice to have, but not necessarily important. The top stuff, this reason all this at the end, the top stuff is most important by showing that you've got the thought leadership and domain expertise to be the founder. And then you can put on your projects. I've got all the different projects, like the books that I've written and all the things that I've done. So that's what happens right there. And pretty much it all starts, and LinkedIn is really good at prioritizing what's the content up at the top. So use your profile accordingly. I advise, put yourself in the mindset, in the shoes of that investor. What are the things they're going to be looking for? And you don't want to brag, and you want to just be so matter of fact on LinkedIn. Use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all that stuff for all your hype and getting people excited. But LinkedIn is just, you want to be boring as a matter of fact, and let your experience, your thought leadership, your domain expertise get people excited. And that's, really important. Now, if you're raising funds, this is what I do. Activity, I would post stuff like, here's the latest update. We've reached the latest milestone. Hooray, we just signed our first customer. Hooray, this is our first month of profitability, right? And you want to show the activity of the milestones of your startup. Stay away from trying to just be social and all this stuff. Sharpen the tip of that arrow and make sure that it makes a lot of sense. And don't get caught up in politics. Don't give founders a reason to go, hey, wait a second, what's going on there? Don't post your personal stuff. Share personal things and feelings that you have, etc., but do it appropriately and professionally. Put yourself in the mind of the investor, of the potential co-founder, of the people you want to be doing business with, and then you'll just be fine. All right. Finally, like I said, spend once a week, do a top down, work through your LinkedIn, and then once a week work on your LinkedIn profile, and then you'll just be fine. And then you're going to help you get investors, and you're going to, most importantly, help yourself. Hope that was helpful. We're running regular classes in terms of power networking and personal branding at startups.com. We give all this advice. We give office hours, etc. We got a lot of experts that can help you with this, optimize your LinkedIn profile. So if you need those office hours or you need help, reach out. We got you covered if you're part of the startups.com online accelerator and founder community. If not, feel free to leave a comment and ask questions. Hope that was helpful. See you in the next video.